Hello, this time we'll be talking about the equipment connection or equipment selection and connection to Prism. If you look on the toolbar above, you will see that there's some icons that show the first camera, second camera, third camera. Prism is very capable in the advanced version to control two imaging cameras and a guider. The third camera is a video camera. This is especially useful for lunar, solar, planetary, and so on, or electronically assisted astronomy (EAA), which is very popular these days. The last icon on the right shows the actual the telescope as a whole. What this will link to the telescope. The focuser, the filter wheel, the cloud sensors, the weather stations, and so on and so forth. Well, let's go ahead and try and set up our first two cameras. If we press on the gear up here for the settings, either you can do that or you can go to settings, hardware settings, which takes you to the same window. For our first, we'll go down, we'll set up the cameras first. We'll get onto cameras and we'll set up the first one. This is the main camera. For me, the telescope is ES 102, which is Explore Scientific 102. The observer is me, H. The focal length, this is extremely important because this is going to be used in plate solving later on. It has to be accurate within millimeters or as accurate as possible. The diameter is not as important as the focal length. You can also get a data from a plate solved image. You can get one of the images you took with the setup, plate solve it with Prism, and it'll populate the actual focal length for you, as well as the angle that is. So to set up the first camera, we're going to set it up as ASCOM. Which is, and then you can back down here, and then we'll remove this unless you have, say, a camera with a dual head where guiding is supported by the second chip. In this instance, it's not. I have a separate guide camera, so we'll uncheck this. We'll select our camera. Now you have an ASCOM camera chooser, and we'll choose our camera over here. With the ASIs, it is important to note that the ASCOM driver actually takes care of the gain and offset settings in here, which mine is set to unity anyway. We'll press OK. And press OK, and we'll press OK down here. Also note that you can choose to save these as equipment profiles if you would for every single piece of gear you have connected. You can save it and you can load it later. I'm not using these tabs, but they're for advanced users, for advanced applications, so I'm not going to worry about those for now. We'll press OK. We'll set our guider. The second camera can be set as a guider. Press setup. Again, telescope is, I'm using an off-axis guider, so the telescope is going to be the Explore Scientific 102 again. The observer is myself. Focal length, and again, very important, 571 millimeters. The diameter is 102. Again, same options. You can choose to plate solve an image and get the information that way. The angle will be populated later. We will go to ASCOM again, and this time we'll leave this option checked because we're going to use the guider port from that camera. We'll select our camera, and this time we'll go to Starlight, Express Lodestar Guider. Also, press properties if you need to set your properties, and sometimes the window does not pop up, so it'll be at the bottom right here. And if everything looks good, we'll go ahead and press OK. And OK on this window. Again, you can save this profile, unload it later. In this instance, we do not want to, and we'll press OK. We'll move on to the mount. So the mount has its own options. You can have some LX and compliant telescope mounts that are supported directly, some old school split telescope mount encoders, and in this instance we'll go to ASCOM again. we'll get the same chooser from earlier, just like earlier from ASCOM, and this I have a Celestron AVX mount, and it uses the Celestron Unified driver. Again, we'll select properties just to check. All right, these look good. Press OK. And what Prism does is it queries the driver to ask what it actually what it covers and what it allows for. Like for example, telescope capable of slewing, yes. Capable of resync, yes. If you go through these, you'll find all the capabilities in here. One thing to note about the AVX is that you need the SD4 cable in order for Prism to guide your setup. We'll move on to the focuser. I have a Moonlight focuser, which has an ASCOM driver. We'll select the focuser type, same chooser like earlier. We'll choose our Moonlight, press properties to make sure that the options are correct and the information that is input is good. Again, it's at the bottom. Again, this looks good. This looks good. With the focuser, it's a little bit different. It will be pulled every 2 seconds by Prism to know where it's at. And you can choose to input the focuser step size automatically or have it manually, or have it populated automatically. In this instance, I will input it since I know it. 96 microns. You can also choose to include your backlash compensation if you have slop in your focuser, and this will be input in millimeters in microns. One thing to note about Prism is, especially for focusing, it uses millimeters. Even the travel of the draw tube of the focuser when focusing, it doesn't deal with in steps or step sizes. It deals in actual millimeters and microns. You can choose to not have any motion when the focuser connects. For example, I have my focus set at 32 millimeters with my filter wheel on the luminance filter. If I do input that into the focus module later, what Prism will do is, as soon as it connects the focuser, it'll move to 32 millimeters to be ready to focus. If you choose not to have any motion after it connects, you can just check this box right here. We'll leave it checked for now. Moving on, filter wheel. My filter wheel as well is an ASCOM filter wheel, ASCOM compliant filter wheel, and we'll do the same thing. You can choose properties and check the information over here, which is correct. Press OK. And this is where it stops here, because this is all the equipment that I have connected to Prism. Later on, when I get an observatory, you can have cloud sensor, weather station. One thing to actually set is the place, but this is set in the settings section. So we'll go ahead and press OK for now. This is it for now. This shows you the connection of the equipment. All that is left to do is just press connect, and your camera is connected. This is not a demo camera. This is actually my camera that's connected to the scope. The guider as well will be connected. This message tells you that, hey, we're going to use the relays on this camera to handle slow motion moves for accurate guiding, which is your auto guiding. And this completes this session of the partial introduction to Prism. And we'll handle these windows individually so that it's explained rather well. It's really involved, and as anything Prism, it's very comprehensive, and it covers pretty much everything. Stay tuned for more videos. Clear skies. Have a good one.